I haven't been doing the story so far things at the beginning of each video. This is, well, the preliminary turns. The first one was kind of exciting. We had two factions. The Empire split basically in half, and the usurpers ended up getting themselves in a position where they got destroyed, and thus the Empire was, restored into one person's hands. Second prelude turn. Another usurper power started out over here in the Eastern Empire box and tried to interject itself, but really couldn't find a lot of points, a lot of action that it could take that would help the Barbarian. It's kind of a funny situation because if you're playing to try to win with the usurpers, you could do that, or try to take as much as you could. And a usurper can be a very, very powerful thing, as shown by that first turn where the scenario, has actually got the Empire kind of split. But the usurper is probably not going to have a lot of provinces when they start, and it's kind of hard to conquer a lot. It's not like Imperium Romanum, right? The first scenario started out with the Empire split in half, but I doubt that there's going to ever be a usurpation that's that impressive unless it's like built up over many turns. So that was kind of a fizzle as they kind of moved around in Illyricum and took the points away, but then they automatically die at the end of that turn. We didn't have any kind of usurpations, but we had in the second prelude turn, we had the beginning of the Germanic tribes starting to move, or starting to prepare to move and do stuff. We also had the Romans move up into Caledonia and try to take the Picts out. Apparently they failed. I thought they had killed the Pict marker, but it doesn't move until the city is actually taken. The city of Caledonia, just like the city of Magnus Germania. Then on the first real wave turn, we did see the Romans pulled out of Scotland. They had no capability to take it anymore. Their forces were too weakened. They were brought down because there's a number of barbarian invasions happening. We have Jutes landing here in Cornwall instead of where they belong in Kent. Kent would have been a bigger deal, right? If you can take Londinium, you end up knocking the province out. And we weren't able to knock any provinces out. We got a couple of incursions happening up here in Belgica, just because they were the easier places to get strikes in. I quickly looked through the Roman cards, see what I have. Delay at a critical moment. Play when a leader's activated, he gets less action points. Or play when a leader makes an intercept or avoid battle to give them a minus. That's powerful as a reaction for a kind of crappy card. But it's a one-use card, so... But you probably want to get it out of your deck, because it's shitty other than that. Two loyalists see you with an unbesieged loyalist leader. That looks useful. Rome offers settlement. Okay, we got the first place where I can give a province away. Resettle a barbarian tribal marker to a loyalist provincial capital. This might be useful to deal with, in particular, I think it's the Alemanni who are particularly problematic, not the Franks. I got a campaign, so I do have the option of jumping in and doing stuff. Legionary discipline, play during a battle. Romans have combat superiority. They get an additional +3 to the combat roll. Wow, that really... Combat superiority, I think, is defined as what? That's a good question. What I thought it was defined as is this. It's really not clear. I may have to look that up. And activate a loyalist with a strategy rating 1 or 2. Give them 6 action points. This is very, very powerful. 6 action points on a card that's other... Well, I mean, a 3-point card comes close to that on a 1-point leader. Or it does that for a 1-point leader. But this is a shitty card, but it affects both 1 and 2, so that's kind of potent. All right, let's look at the Legionary Discipline, see if that got clarified here. Yeah, because I don't know where combat superiority is. Does it mean you have a plus to the battle roll? Does it mean you have more strength points? It's not a term that's defined as far as I know. So what is it called? Legionary discipline. Not here. All right, I'll be back after a walk upstairs. Another one that got through not only publication, but through the errata card sheet. Yeah, no definition of what that might mean. I gotta stop going up. It's just stupid. It's stupid. It's like the errata is insufficient. This game is over a year old, and yeah. All right. Anyway, I don't know what this means. For me, combat superiority probably means has a higher plus on the table, but it might mean has more troops. It might mean has any pluses on the table, like they're fighting where they kind of belong. It could mean lots of things. I'm going to go with my interpretation, but all right. Do I want to do a campaign? Because I'm allowed to jump in if I want to. I could do that to try to squish this, which has 11 strength points. I have 7, and I have crap. Not good. 7 plus crap is not much. Do I have a bigger force here? This would be adding a shitty emperor to my fight. I could bring 7 and 7 in. 2 leaders using this card's ops. This guy would have a shitload of points, 6 of them. I could come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could squish in and hit those. And these guys could obviously get in there. Do I want to jump and do that? It would fling the barbarians back quite a bit. That would be advantageous. Of course, it's using up a lot of power. Oh boy. I don't know. I realized something interesting here. I was looking through the Barbarians to see, because I think I'm going to do it. I was looking through the Barbarians to see if they have cards that give them reactions, and they didn't. But I looked at the Pictish invasion card, which is here. If not in play, place the Picti card marker on any space in Caledonia, then place Verdoc and 2 Barbarians. And we've already talked about how I'm going to separate the two. The if not in play is only a condition for the first part. But I realized something interesting. The Picts could have been destroyed and they would not be in play and be able to rebirth this way. That's kind of an intriguing option, to save these cards to use to rebirth a tribe that's been destroyed. I don't know if that's the intention, but we'll do that. Okay, so I get to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here through clear terrain. I'm not going to intercept. So interception wouldn't make much difference, would it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I know it's a campaign. I know he's got troops. I think I want to intercept. So we look for the interception rule. Not allowed to cross river or state by a besieged force or into a state. Okay. Not allowed into a space containing enemy CU or fortifications. Yeah. So this fortress protects me, and actually I can scoop these guys up and bring them in with me. And now I can bring another force, and now I think I can't intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This stack has an extra movement point, which I could use for converting the area if I successfully fight it. The interesting thing about reconverting areas is you're making them plunderable again and able to generate points, but we're not too worried about that. So let me pull all the Romans off. We know how they got in there, just so I can see the strength. As often, I had things I want to say and I lost them. And we look to see if we want to play. Well, I don't know if I have combat superiority. I entered through clear terrain, so I have a +1. And then I have a +1 for my leadership role. I got +2. Do I want to play this big expensive card to try to wipe these fuckers out? Oh, I got more than +2. I got 7, 8, and 7 is 15. There's 5 more. So I'm at +7 already. I'm not going to waste the card on that because there's only so far I can go on this chart. And he had no combat cards whatsoever. So it's +7 to +1. I don't know how many barbarians there are. There's like 11 of them or something, which might bring it to +2. Yeah, it brings it to +2. So we do 4, that's 3 hits. And we were at +7, which is 5 hits. So 3 to 5. He's so fast and effective. I'm going to take... I'll leave them each with forces. It really kind of doesn't matter. They're all allowed to... Shit me. They're allowed to kind of have combined forces here. That's not part of it. There's a danger to what I did. And the Emperor's here. I have an extra movement point with some of the forces, so I'm going to switch this back to being Roman controlled. I don't know if that's wise or not. These have to fall back. Now, they lost, what, 5? That retreats them 2 spaces. I'll go back to here. Now we get to a 2, so that we don't have too many fucking counters in one place. And this gets displaced up to here. If I think I'm doing things right. And that puts us back to the barbarian side. The Romans, having pushed the Alemanni back, we're bringing the Tervingi in. This was a core, I don't have to throw it away. Over there. I've got a card that allows a huge number of barbarian migrations at once, but there's issues with barbarian migrations. So you kind of have to push forward with your forces to do these, if I recall correctly. I think there was a rule. Let's look this up. There's so many little piece rules, and I don't know. But in this case, the migration, I think, was limited. Okay. When activated for migration, a barbarian tribal can move a single space, ignoring transit spaces, increase the number during the waves, and route. Such a move cannot enter a space with a fortification marker, enemy CU, another tribal marker, or another tribe's barbarian leader. Ooh. I think I couldn't have done the migration here either, could I? Wasn't there there was no, there wasn't another tribe, was there? I don't remember. It's fucking impossible. Another tribal marker or another tribe's barbarian leader? No, it's not a tribal control mark. Change control over any border cultivated. If such a... Okay, so it does change it during migration or to the barbarian power. Now, what do they mean by during migration? They mean during the migration phase, I think. But there's a different way of doing migration, which is off of these, but I don't know if there's a rule for it. Here we go, migration conversion. If it moves to a space containing a walled city, immediately convert the space according to 13.5. This is something different. This is the conversion table rules. I have no fucking clue. Like, this is the problem. The rule book is so bad that it created very little concept of what the rules are and of what play is about, right? So and there's so many different little pieces to this, and it's like I've gotten this problem again and again with CDGs. It's like there's a lack of discipline in terms of keeping the system kind of clean. I don't know. I'm going to ignore whatever problems are going on, and I'm just going to move on and deal with the Roman player's turn, because I can't fucking cope. What we have to do is we have to put an end to the Utes. So I'm going to play this. That's only going to give me 3 movement points. 1, 2. That's enough to get me in and have a point to convert back. Did he have... He has, like, no reaction cards. Okay. I could have intercepted. Interception gives me a +1 in battle. Do I want to intercept? Yeah, you know, I know he's coming at me. 1, I intercept. What's my interception chance? Right? Plus the TR of the leader, that's a 0. I got a -1 going into another power space. No, I'm not getting in there. Okay. So the Romans are at 4, at +3, +4. And these guys are at 3, at even. +4 gets me a 7 against 4, says I do 3 hits. 3 at even with a 1 does nothing. I wipe them out. The leader goes on the displaced box because he's got nowhere to retreat to, which means that the Jutes are destroyed. And I think that destroys the leader as well. Even if the Jutes were going to come back again, their leader's gone. And if I recall correctly, I had an extra movement point to convert this back. I don't get anything for it. So I don't know how worthwhile it is, but it would kind of bother me. There go the Jutes. I will put a white marker there to remind me they're in the dead pool. The other one that I killed, I don't think is coming back. But they might. Play the Pictish invasion, but I wanted to highlight another thing with the wonderful graphic design issues here. So I haven't harped on this one yet. So there's this guy, what's his name? Veradak. And look at you cannot read the name on his counter. You just can't read it. It's this thin, dark italics on here. I mean, I can almost barely see it, but if it wasn't for the coloration, I wouldn't have a chance. And this is... See, again, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm bumbling through the game. This is an issue I had before as well, where I'm like, you know, I'll just keep making these tribes, but I run out of cards and I haven't done a damn thing, and the Romans gain points, and I just don't feel like I've done shit. But I've got fistfuls of invaders, and then I've got this barbarian migration, which is useless to me unless I carve out a space for my invasion to go. These guys could actually slip in and take some territory. But I'm just having such a hard time kind of crushing through the limites. That's okay. I'm okay with it, but I'm like, I kind of have this feeling of, wow, am I doing this right? Because I don't know if Rome's ever going to fall apart. Also left with the, do I want to save these cards for later or whatever? Would that help me? It's just very, very hard to get a grasp on what I should be doing in this game. Um, I may have a better idea of that after I've finished playing. I decide Rome is still expanding. This is what I was thinking with the picks. I'm going to play this. This is a leader card with 1 CU. It might help me defend down here in Illyricum, but it might do something even better. So I'm going to take my 10 strength points with my Emperor. With my Emperor. I have to do it with the Emperor, right? 1, 2. I'm not very strong. I could send it with this other guy. The Emperor's going to get four movement points. I want 5. I want 6. How about instead of the Emperor, I go for something more exciting. I will leave the Emperor behind. It doesn't matter that I'm leaving him with less troops. 1, 2. Can't be intercepted there. 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry. 1, 2. I can be intercepted there. Does he want to intercept? He gets a military advantage for doing so, so I think so. I've got a +1, and it's not been converted yet. I get a 4 on the interception. That's not good enough. 3, I'm taking the space. 4, 5. I don't want to withdraw, do I? I mean, I could. My tribe would just fall back with me. But if I fail, I'm in a bad way, so we'll fight. So it's 10-7. Sounds like a time. I've got 1 pip left to take that space. I'm looking to take Germania here. um, and make it a province, damn it. I'm at +2 for the Romans. The Barbarians are at +1. That is an advantage. I could throw another big +3 on there, but that gets rid of a card. And cards are hard to come by. So I was wiping out tribes. I've got 10 coming in. I'm not going to be able to wipe this force out. Retreating across rivers and straits, not across that. All right, we'll go for it as it is. So we're at +2. They're at +1. We get a 4 over on the 10. We do 3, and they do 5 on the 7. Okay, they killed 2 of us. So we killed 3 of them, which will put them down to a 4. They will retreat back up. Do I really care? Not really. I'll retreat to here, and this goes there. And we were losing 2? What was it I said? 5 at 7 is 2. Which means we exchange this for 3. And then I spend the extra point, once again, converting an area. This may be dumb because this is plunderable territory that I'm creating here. But I have this goal in mind. If I can take Germania, I can focus all my force there and prevent barbarians from coming in. I think. It's kind of hard to tell. If we take a look at like the Vandal invasion, place the Vandal tribal marker Gunderic, 6 barbarians CU on Thuringia Latu. I think I can place them there regardless of where the Romans are, but they won't get to convert it, and it'll give me some time to react or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. I also think I'm misusing the game. To double check whether I'm misusing it, I take a look in here for the invasions cards to see where they're referenced in the index, and of course this sparse little index shows me nothing. They sure take up a lot of space to put very little information here. You know, usually one of my complaints is that games are trying to make their rule books too parsimonious in some cases. Obviously, not the case in this one. It's very verbose and for no good reason. But yeah, I'm expecting that like one of the issues is that the cost of printing is very expensive, and it's mainly, it's on a per page basis. It's not on how much ink you're putting in the pages. It's the page cost. But here they just use up so much space and give so little, and it's really across the board. So I don't know. Here we go. Here's an invasion thing. Think they'd have it. So tribal markers. Invasion cards are mentioned. These strategy events, tribal markers may never be entered in a space controlled by a non-barbarian power. So by taking these, I take away the option. Already containing a tribal marker, already containing a CU or leaders from another power, including different barbarian tribes. But I think these blank barbarians, those are available to be scooped up. That's how I've been playing it. Or enemy fortified spaces. Well, yeah, okay. And if they can't be placed, they can be placed in the further east. There are some exceptions, of course, there. Um, like the Picts can never go in the further east. Okay. Basically, the answer is invade Rome. I'm going to play a minor campaign that allows me to activate 2 leaders. One of them is going to come down this way. 5. Okay. I don't have the movement I want. Activate 2 leaders using this ops. So this guy would only have 4. That would get him to here. 1, 2, 3, 4 to here. I'll put a Roman control marker on top of him to remind me. That's 1. I could intercept it, but it's bigger than me, and I don't want to do that. And then let's send the Picts down, too. Do I care that they own this? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. 1, 2, 3, 4 to here. I'm going to hide inside. 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. Hiding inside means I don't have any more. This is under siege. Like that. And this is a core, so it just goes back. This legionary discipline, not for its effect, but for the 2 points. I'm going to march up here. 1, 2. He can try to intercept. Does he want to? He's not really sure what the fuck the Romans are up to. They outnumber us. But we'd get a plus on interception. Ought I try? I don't know that I want to. That's the whole thing. I'm going to try. I'm at +1 on the interception attempt. I don't get it. That's fine. And the Romans are going to lay siege to this. I'm going to tell you what the Romans are up to. Because they have a barbarian resettlement. If they capture this, they can resettle the Alemanni in Germania without having to conquer Germania. But then that'll give us a good ways towards conquering Germania. I get a 2 + 1 for being Roman on the siege table. Is that the only plus I have? It's been a while since I've done a siege. Yeah. So I get a 3 on the siege table, which means we each lose 1. I capture this. Which gives me a 2. I now own the space. Having sieged it, I do get control of that. I don't quite have control of Germania yet. But this is weird, right? The barbarians, I feel kind of handcuffed here. I have a usurper emperor. I know I want to use this, and I'm probably going to use it in Hispania to get this good leader and a decent amount of forces in play to march into Africa. Sounds nice to me. That'll reduce the Roman point gains each damn turn, which I can't figure out how to prevent. Because, these guys, I could activate these guys and they could do something exciting maybe. I could activate, I can't really activate this because he's got to sit there to convert that space, right? I mean, I could move on and take something else, but he kind of would like to convert that space. These guys, I don't know. I don't know what the Romans are up to in particular. I don't like it. I could activate them and move them down, but point-wise, the only cards that could activate some of these leaders are my two invasion cards. I don't really want to use the invasion cards to activate forces. I want to bring those invasions in. Of course, that trims the cards from the deck. They'd show up again later. It's not like I'm giving up the invasion forever. But if I play it as an invasion, well, the Burgundians can show up in Treva, which is up here, which is not terrible given the situation. But with only 4 barbarians, that's not enough. The Vandals can show up in Thuringia, Lachnau, or Magna Germana, none of which I own anymore. So they would have to show up in the further east space, which is really getting far from being able to do anything to the Romans. The fact that the Romans brought this into me is kind of painful. And also, I just don't have the cards I could do it. I wanted to do this Barbarian Invasions card, which or migrations, which would allow me to shift a lot of the tribal markers forward. It lets you do any number of tribal markers for migration, but there's not really a lot of places I can go that are appealing. This guy's at 2. He might be able to do something of interest. Can he take the capital? He might be able to. So I guess I'll play this. I'm not really thrilled about it. That gives him 3 movement points. I come in with 1. I have 2 more movement points. I'm going to fight a battle against this guy who's pretty damn good. He's going to be a +4. I'll let him make his move, I guess. I could drop him. He was going to be at, what did we say? He was going to be at 3 movement points. I could have dropped him to a 1. That, not really excited by that. Okay. So the Romans are a +4, and the Barbarians are a +1. Okay. +1 is 4 all the way out on the 5 table. That's going to do 1 hit. The Romans are at +4, but only on the 2 table. They do 2. So the Romans take 1 hit. They've defeated the Barbarians, which sends them flinging back because they took 2 hits. So the Barbarians did not get the advantage they wanted. I think their movement stops on losing a battle, but I'm not sure. It usually does in these games. I seem to remember it being in the rules somewhere. But it's time for another rules lookup. Yay! I swear, most of the game is spent trying to hunt for shit in the rules. So I was correct. The Barbarians are stymied by that. We're going to play the Rome offers settlement to the Alemanni, offering them Magnus Germanica as their home, and they're willing to take it. Target a barbarian tribal marker and relocate it together with CU to a loyalist control, possibly on besieged capital. What did we target? A barbarian tribal and relocate it together with everything located on it. That goes up here. Flip the tribal marker to its allied side, additionally removing the barbarian controlled from the space on the tribal alignment track. So this is interesting. So the Alemanni, I'm going to switch them to red. I'm not just going to remove them because I think it's useful to have this additional information. These are all going to convert. This converts. What? I got 5 strength points? What's up with that? Continue to play with the change. This does not flip over. That may be a different leader. Chandamar. No. It doesn't really matter. He's the same. Relocate all leaders of that tribe and see you stacked with them to the tribal marker, even if currently displaced. I don't have any other leaders for that. Barbarian leaders don't have a distinction. Flip all CU of the tribal marker to their allied side. We did that already. Allied power gains control over a number of loyalist-controlled spaces nearest the tribal marker, equal to the tribe's reinforcement score. Okay. So, we do have some problems, which is, and we're going to have to leave, but this and this convert to allied. Hey, no more plunder for them. That's 2. I had a tribal tribal marker of 3 originally. No, of 2. Okay, that's perfect. I thought I had a 3 on that one. These guys, who's got the 3? The Franks have the 3. Yeah. Okay, so I give them Germania and I tell them you can have this. Now they no longer have access to these as easily. Reinforcements equal to the tribe's reinforcement score. Now this is down to a 1 reinforcement because they're like on reservation now. Relocate each loyalist Byzantine unit in newly allied spaces to the nearest loyalist controlled space. And I have choice, but everything has to go to the same space. Now, unfortunately, this goes away after play. There's a limitation to how many tribes you can relocate. But I've just relocated them to Germany, which I consider incredibly vile. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So I could place these 1, 2. It's got to be one of these. Do I have room for 2 more troops? Yeah, I do. I'm going to put them with the Emperor here, which gives me an Emperor with a big stack of forces. That's pretty impressive. And I think I've done something really cool. Like I've subjugated the tribe and left them in their own territory with less force. You know, it's the tribes and the putting them, making them allied, which is like going on reservation, shit like that. That reminds me of it, I guess. But it feels like there's something else, like sort of the very limited occurrences, like very little is happening on any given action, on any given series, on any given course of turns. It's not like, I don't know. It even when big things happen like this, it doesn't feel like I'm conquering territory in the same way that the CDGs this is based on, that the designer calls out, in particular, We the People and Hannibal and Sword of Rome. Those feel like I'm doing more with each card and thus doing more in the course of a turn. Here, it really kind of feels like not much is going on usually, but this was a major swing. Decided I'm failing with Barbarians so badly, and really, you know, I mean, I could keep activating this, but he's running into trouble. I don't know where the hell he's going to migrate to, though. He must migrate. Like, he may die or something. I have no idea what happens, because I don't think he can. He's, like, blocked. Maybe the game just ends. I'm targeting a loyalist leader in Hispania. And that'll flip everything over, and I'm planning on using my cards for that more. That gets me... Oh, I still don't own Germania. Note that. That's of some importance here. but there's now a revolution and a new emperor being declared here, and that card actually does get replayed. Leaves me with a kind of a problematic situation for the Romans, because there's nothing that can deal with this, right? If Britannia fell, maybe that would be a problem too. I don't know. Like, I could have chosen Britannia instead. The reason I didn't is that I have at least one invasion heading that way. And I expect there to be more. I have Flavius Argilbargle. I could place him over in Carthage. He's a better leader, and that would help defend against this. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to place him. He's not a great leader, but he's a better leader. I'm going to place him down here in Tulsa, in Oklahoma, in order to put a threat to northern Spain. If I lose Africa to this guy, I might be able to retake Spain. But all of Spain is usurper right now, so that's kind of expensive. And this is a remove after play, of course, because it brings a dude in. In a situation I don't understand, I have 2 barbarian cards left, only 1 Roman card. The Romans could have passed. I don't think the Romans played any events, any reaction type cards. I don't know how I got here. I probably played 2 Roman turns in a row. Fuck it, I can't figure it out. What do I do? I mean, I'm ignoring that, right? I could put the Vandals. I can't put the Vandals anywhere except furthest east, which doesn't sound terribly useful. I have the Burgundian invasion card. I could put him up here at Treva. That might be a good idea. With Gundahar. How's Gundahar? Gundahar is going to be probably at the bottom of this deck. I don't know if that's him. I can't read. That's Gundahar. He's a 2-1. He's a little bit better in terms of reactive capability and whatnot. He's not a sea leader. I don't know, you know. This force got kind of chewed up. I would have a place to retreat to. Sure, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to get me 4 of these, a Gundahar, and I don't know who we're looking for. The Burgundians, which should be here. I see a purple. That's angles. There's the Burgundians. To start there. I'm worried that they can't, you know, they'll be able to migrate somewhere, I guess. And I'll put them up here for that card. That gets this card out of play, of course, because you can't have them keep coming. And so somehow the Romans got screwed, or got, I don't know. I think they may get bonused. I have a 1-point card. Do I want to fuck with this force or this force? Got 4 movement. I could come up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. I could bring this extra strength point with me, which would be even better if I have less than 10, which I think I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't reach there. So yeah, we'll head this way. Do I want to leave a strength point behind to help garrison? I've got all this allied land. 1, 2, 3. Can't intercept this force. We draw a bigger general with us. 4 going up there. I think we're stuck with the activating leader in this case. So we've got 10 at +2. and they have 5, 3 at +1. +2, 5, that's going to do 3. And what did I say? 3 at 5, that does 2, so we have another victory. And this was played not for its event. To destroy the Franks as well. We've really got the Barbarians on the run here. Because the leader got displaced, there's no place to put the tribal marker then, and so it just dissolves. They could come back, maybe there's another card for them. And the Barbarians have the Vandal invasion that I really kind of don't want to play. I've got a really good leader. I could give him 6 movement points into Africa. 1, 2 for a siege. I'm going to keep these because I feel like I'm going to get lost here. 2 for a siege. I've got 4. I don't know what that matters. I'm at +1 for the siege. I get a total of 4. I take it. 3, 4 for the siege. I'm at +1. I take it. 5. I can either convert the space or go for a battle. If I don't convert the space, I've got a problem, which is that I won't be able to retreat well. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6th point is to convert the space. That way I don't take any attrition or anything. I think the usurper leader gathers forces. This was used not for the invasion. And now we hit the end of turn stuff. Attrition phase. Where do we have attrition? We have it here and here, I believe. I forgot this one. This one has it as well. Each one lost 1 strength point on the other one. This is a 5 strength point unit. It loses a strength point. It's a lot easier when I'm not on camera, simply because there's all this change producing activity. But this is going to convert over to a barbarian space, and we get a plunder for that. Almost about ready to take a victory point away from the Romans. Okay, Africa. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We've got, 4. We've still got control of Africa for Rome. Just had to check that. I think we're at the control phase, which I've been flipping things over everywhere where I needed to. But I've got a siege up here. Now, Picts are not particularly good at sieges, and I'm facing 2 units, which is not particularly advantageous. I roll a big 2. That does nothing. I lost a unit due to attrition, so I could end up losing the siege the same way the Romans lost theirs. That means control doesn't switch or anything there. And now we're on the migration phase. And this is going to require that I look at the rules. And maybe some people get destroyed because there are problems. I don't think so. I think everybody can survive in this one. This is section 16. I must migrate each besieged barbarian tribal marker. Any tribal marker not able to be migrated is permanently eliminated. Yeah, I thought so. Wasn't positive, but okay. It must move a single space. Cannot enter a space with a fortification marker, even if controlled by the usurper power. Okay. I'm able to move these here. They don't get destroyed. I'm able to move these here. They don't get destroyed. These are able to move here. They don't get destroyed. Wowzer. Okay. Scoring phase. Roman player scores. Okay. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's one more point. I found a use for the extra victory point marker. Do I have one for the extra turn marker? Not yet. But that way I can go up to like 40 or something. Or close to it. If it gets that high, we got problems, right? And then reinforcements. Each side receives reinforcements. These are by scenario. Theodosius the Younger. Got to pull the other rule book out and try to remember where the page number is. See, part of it is it all looks kind of the same in this. There's this stupid extended example of play that's behind the last scenario. So we're on turn 2. Remove Gratian and Valentinian from the game and add Theodosius the Younger to the same power. They could be on different powers, man. Here goes Gratian. Where's Theodosian? He's my other emperor. Do I have him with us? Yeah. Right? No, this is Valentinian. They're the two I get rid of, right? Gratian and Valentinian go away. And then I add Theodosius the Elder, who I already have out and ready. He's got to go, I don't remember where. I think it's a provincial capital, but I'm not sure. But I've got other reinforcements to take as well. Fucked up completely. Usurper isolation step. Where the fuck is that? That was back in control phase. Before scoring. All of this would have shifted. Okay. Hispania goes back to Roman. This remains theirs. Rome gets another victory point. I was so afraid of him that... I mean, I wanted to go this way, but I didn't realize... so what happens here is you can only... each usurper controlled space which cannot trace via highway, rough, or riverine connections only. Not across a strait. I'm really disturbed by that. This is... like... Whatever. Fucking hell. Okay, where's Hispania? I must have flipped it already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I actually guess I never... Oh, I did Britannia Romana. Okay. So that's one more victory point for the Romans. I thought I did something great. I failed completely. Too bad. Okay. But what I'm looking for is something else, which is the reinforcement phase. It's not here, so this will have to be there because it's a fucking phase, right? Page 15, 5.7. Again, the rule book is, and the index is not helpful enough. It gives like one reference at best. During reinforcements, each power receives. What about the leaders? That's what I'm curious about. Displaced leaders may be placed, barbarian and allied, on their tribal marker. Loyalist, any unbesieged loyalist see you or controlled walled city. Okay. I thought I was more limited than that. I thought Theodosius the Senior went away when Theodosius the Younger came in. It doesn't. It seems to be that only emperors go away. So, and this is not, he's great at combat, but he's not that important. So, all right. I don't know where the fuck I'm going to put him. I think I've got a threat over here I've got to deal with. This is the kind of fuck up I hate. I'm not in a position where I can reverse it, but it's like, yeah, I obviously would not have marched down this way had that happened. Now, it's kind of funny because by being here, I was able to take all of Hispania, but no matter what, I would lose like these things. I feel, you know what? I'm going to say screw it. It's not true. Here's why. I just don't accept it. I just don't accept it. And I'm willing to change enough in this game. I just don't accept it because what it means is Africa sucks. You never want to take Africa as your province because you can't you expand into Hispania, you lose Africa again. Yeah, you can make the same argument about Britannia. I'm more willing to accept it in Britannia. I'm not willing to accept it in Hispania at all. There's a conversion going over there. Over here, there's a conversion. I'm also not going to give this up because, I mean, technically, this, even if I followed that, this should go Roman loyalist. I don't buy it. The province went over, man. You know, I'm just not accepting it. Fuck it. All right. For reinforcements, the one guy I haven't figured out is Theodosius. I've put everything else down. I think I'm going to put him here. There's a fair-sized force there, and I do believe, maybe I'm mistaken, that the victory conditions are if you lose all of Italy, you lose. But I don't remember. Victory, page 13. That's pretty far in the early side of things, isn't it? How to win. No loyalists see you on the turn. 0 provinces. Nope. I thought there was something that you couldn't win if you had none of Italy. But I mean, the usurpers could take it. So yeah, screw that, man. That couldn't be the case. So maybe I want him over here instead. It's a smaller force. I think I'm willing to let Illyricum fall if it comes to that, comparatively. I mean, look, we're at 19, 20, 21 victory points, you know, and it just seems to be growing. This will go up. We'll be adding the second wave to the deck. Nothing additional gets removed. I'll shuffle those in, but I'm taking a break. Before I put the camera away and plug it in or whatever. On a personal note, setting myself up to not go shopping tomorrow. It's supposed to rain tomorrow and for the next several days, so like, fuck it. I just don't know what's going to happen. I may just run to this store that's like only a half hour away. But with like a backpack and grab some stuff. But it's not enough stuff, you know. That's the whole problem. It's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But instead of my raid commitment is kind of done for a while, at least for another day or so. But I tried napping. I couldn't sleep. It's nighttime. I just can't. You know, if I starve to death, I'll wake. I'll come back to life or whatever, I guess, or not. You know, I mean, it's not like I'm out of food, but and I'm absolutely unwilling to do anything like call to have food delivered. There's supermarkets around here. I'll do that, I guess, but I'm just not willing. Like, I take that step, and I've taken yet another step down the road of depravity, as far as I'm concerned. But I found like some stupid video game that I pulled down and started playing to keep myself busy. Because honestly, I need to drown my brain out constantly. I can't even just sit and read, apparently. Coming back for one last thought. The decks have gotten bigger. Ooh, what does that mean? Well, it means we're going to see more randomness, right? And there's less. So players who know the game will know the deck for here and here very, very well, right? In terms of like, there's not a lot of cards. certainly on this turn and this turn, if you memorize and track everything, you will know precisely what cards your enemy holds on the second and fourth, on the B and 2 turn, okay? That's not going to be the case anymore. You're not, I don't think you're ever going to know precisely what the enemy holds. I actually really don't like that, knowing precisely what your enemy holds from a game design standpoint. It's like the game becomes about counting cards and memorizing shit, which there are games which are badly flawed by that. You know, it's a mechanism, whatever. But, well, flawed in my view. Like blackjack, man. No. I mean, seriously, it feels like it's not providing what the rest of the design is attempting to provide. So, like, if you absolutely know, yeah, the scoring card's going to come up this turn in Twilight Struggle. Well, why do you know that? You know that because you've memorized the cards and you're keeping count and everything like that. And it starts to feel less and less like your decision making has a damn thing to do with real world situations, right? Some of that's an edge of deck boundary, just like there's an edge of map and edge of turn limit boundary to games. I have to say, it feels really tough on the Barbarians so far. It feels like, and now it may be because I'm blundering around and don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but it feels like it's been pretty easy for the Romans to gather points and to keep the empire together. Not been a lot of usurpers. There was a turn that I chose not to play a usurper, wasn't there? And I used it to try to save the Barbarians, but at least so far, it feels like the Barbarians are at risk of losing, you know, each of these tribes very easily. The usurpers can be wiped out pretty easily, especially by a stupid mistake. But again, I refuse to accept that rule, the rule that the straights, I'm just saying straights count. All right, fine. If I'm going to say that, we'll give the Balearies back. They supported the usurper at first, but then decided no. Yeah, it's fine because it keeps it from having. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference to the usurper player that this is Roman in particular. But for the loyalist player to reconquer Hispania, he needs to be able to count that. And if the islands just fall back, that's fine. But the idea that Sicily can't be part of the Italian usurper without a leader being present, that just goes beyond my comprehension and acceptance. Britannia is a weirder situation, but there were usurpers who came from, you know, first of all, take a look at, you know, your Imperium Romanum game, right? And there's none of this shit there, right? But I see a big difference between you lose a province or two for having a usurper and otherwise. Like, so Britannia and maybe Caledonia could be taken by a usurper, and I'm still bothered. Like, I feel like, I guess this is the issue that I want to say. I feel like as long as I own the capital, that rule should not persist. Right? So long as I own the capital, I should own the territory. And so that I could leave Britannia behind. And if I have the capital of Britannia, I'm in okay shape. Did I switch Hispania back? I know I gave myself the point. Let's give it back. And Germania is not conquered yet, but it might be. Yeah, it just feels like the Romans have had a really easy time, and a usurper kind of doesn't count, right? It's just that the barbarian pressures are so limited. Now you could argue that, well, Rome wouldn't have been suffering from the barbarian attacks as much if the usurpers weren't happening at the same time, and that's true. It's definitely the case, and I've been focusing over here and not on this, which probably wouldn't have happened. But it feels in a gameplay, in terms of victory points and whatnot, this feels like it's a really good strategy because I can wipe out barbarian tribes if I start making it so that they can't expand. Now, finding it difficult to come down and play, I don't know if it's, anything to do with the game. I think it's more the rain and sleeping and stuff like that. Anyway, we deal out the cards. One of them goes into here, as I noted, and otherwise 6 more come out here. I don't get to look at that as far as I can tell. The rules aren't explicit about that, and I could see where it could be, but there's sort of this there's this mechanism where you draw these and then you get to kind of count up points and add more points as you draw it. It doesn't feel like it would be adequately handled if you could examine the cards. I mean, it doesn't say you can't examine these either, and there's just certain assumptions, right? In this case, though, this is sort of kind of part of your hand, so. Look at what the Roman choices are. Okay, they got a Byzantine assistance. They don't get to play on their own. Flavius Claudius Constantinus, a leader. This is going to be a leader in troops. This is a leader in troops. These are one-time cards if I play them for their event. Same with this. Play during a battle where the Romans have combat superiority. Okay. Place a loyalist CU and up to 2 loyalists. We've seen that. Spirit of the Republic. We've seen this before. We didn't use it for its event. And Roman Vigor, which we did use for event. But I've got no campaign. I did notice something kind of annoying. I've been pushing the board forward, and it's kind of pushed the decks, but slipped some of the cards underneath, so I'm going to have to fix that. Romans pass on their campaign option. Now, what do I have here? A Bagwadai Uprising. Eliminate 1 CU in a non-barbarian space in Gallia or Hispania. If no CU or leaders remain in that space, change control to barbarian and gain plunder. Then place the Bagwadai tribal marker. Leader and 4. This looks useful. A way to give me... it's basically a new tribal growth. Overwhelming numbers, bonus in battle roll. If the barbarians have twice as many participating CUs, they get a +4. By the way, someone commented I may not have played the, I don't remember what it was called, Battle Advantage or something like that, card properly, that it has to be by the leadership value. I don't know what I chose to go by, but I don't know of any place in the rules where the term is defined. So it's like, yeah, you're doing what I'm doing, man. You're making stuff up. And if it's the designer saying it, that's cool. If it's someone else who's working with the same sources that I have, it's not so useful. Play after, you're just giving an opinion. Play after winning a battle against the loyalist commanding leader, permanently eliminate that leader. Okay, so it's not easy to get rid of leaders. You generally wouldn't want to play this except against really good leaders, I would guess. Ambush, we've seen that before. We've got the Vandal Invasion, which we're not prepared for, but I'll put that over here. Got the Angle Invasion, Vermund and 4 barbarians in Slavicus or Trevica, or Treva, which are up here. That would allow me another push into Britannia. And then we've got Barbarian Kingdom Strife, activate an allied leader. There are none, are there? Yeah, there is. There's this guy. He receives 6 action points, reduce victory point by 1 if Barbarian wins a battle this impulse. Okay, this is really interesting to get this guy used up before anything happens. So I could probably attack one of the other barbarians, but 6 commands, 2, 4, 6... I could make it to someplace like here. That doesn't sound like a bad choice of an initial action. The only problem with it is flinging myself into enemy territory. This is actually probably the best fight I have, because they can withdraw into a fort here. So why don't we do this? We'll take our tribe, which is quite large, and come 2, 4, 6 to here. And now we're attacking at 6-1 at a +1. The Romans probably don't want to do anything here. They can't do a withdrawal or anything like that. And we do a quick roll. We get a 7 on the 6, which is going to wipe them out. They get a 5 on a 1. They kill one of ours. This is probably a pretty good result, all told, for what happens. Plus, I've like wandered into Roman territory, which, you know, they're allowed to do. Unlike Romans wandering into their territory. It feels like just sort of an opportunistic move of questionable value, but whatever. That kind of comes to the heart of what I'm feeling about the whole game, and I don't think it's a good feeling, which is that I'm making these opportunistic activities. I'm just looking at my cards and trying to figure out what I'm doing. When I talk about kind of bumbling about, this is how it feels. There are games where those opportunistic activities are perfectly valid. You know, looking at your situation, you can very quickly see, hey, this is going to help me. Generally, you have some kind of general strategy in mind that you're supporting with those activities, right? Broadly, you know, it may be directed by the opportunism, but here I have very, very little. Oh, I get a victory point. Yeah, let's not neglect to take points away from the Romans where we can, which is the whole point here. Getting a victory point is a big deal. So playing this card, even though it's a big 3-point card and could support one of my, you know, one of my overall strategies or something, it actually did something pretty big there. Comparatively, because for me to get a victory point as the Barbarians has been really, really hard. And that's the thing. I feel like, like I'm playing a game where I'm supposed to be planning or something and have all kind of, you know, grand ideas. For example, like with the Levian campaign that I just did, you would feel like you're bumbling completely if you didn't plan at all. But, and I kind of did in Nevsky. I've got to admit that. Back when I played that, I remember that feeling kind of like a bumbling type experience. At least at first. I'm just not getting a grasp of anything I should be doing. You know, I should be taking a province away, but doing so is so hard. Other than the play of specific cards, like, you know, the Usurper card, which took a point away. Yeah. Struggling with what the Romans should do. First of all, I know what I want to do with this card. I want to come in and attack this, but maybe not right away. Spirit of the Republic. This could be really useful to grabbing territory in Hispania back, because I'm going to have a hard time beating him. So I'm kind of thinking that's a late play. This is useful. Oh, this is the one where the player has combat superiority. Now, combat superiority, as far as I know, is not defined in the rules. Now, somebody comes up with the idea that that's the leader's advantage. Okay. I don't know. I think it's overall bonuses, which means the Romans usually have an advantage. It's close enough. What I came back to talk about was Flavius Claudius. No. Flavius Claudius, I probably don't want to use this for the event because I've got a leader here. I looked for this leader. He's over here. He's a little better, but I'd be making Britannia a better source of revolt, and revolts are quite possible there. So I'm going to throw this over here as the maybe. This is the one I came back for, the Byzantine assistance. Place Dux Byzantina leader and 4 Byzantine CUs in Simicum, or Simium. That will be useful if forces move in that direction. I'm going to hold off on that because similar to the Roman Vigor, I don't know that I want to play it yet, and I would rather let him do something first. But the reason I wanted to talk about that is here, Byzantine CUs and leaders are treated as loyalists unless otherwise specified. I was looking up and trying to figure out, can I command the Romans with that? Apparently so. Maybe there's somewhere else that it specifies not, but I'll add an addendum. These CU and leaders are treated as loyalists unless otherwise specified and known to the reader in these roles. Because if there's something hidden, fuck it. And then I kind of like this one, put loyalist CU in up to 2 loyalist provincial capitals. I guess that gives me 2 CU. Slightly better than the normal reinforcements cost. So this guy might need more forces for his operations into Hispania that I'm probably going to do. Where else would I want to put? Maybe over here. Can't put him there. I got like one big force and it's poised to go into Germania and smack those around. I think I'm going to go with the big Roman vigor and play that leader. And figure out what I want to do, because that can give me Germania. 1, 2, oh fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 7 to 6. I'm at +2, they're at +1. Yeah, it's not as good as I had hoped. I'm at +5, they're at +1. Hold on. Before I get there. Now, as I cross this, we're going to hit this. And we're going to take 2 away from him. This is not a battle card, this is what's happening beforehand. So now it's 5 to 6. I'm going to still play that battle card because that puts me to +5 to +1. Does he have... He has overwhelming numbers. He doesn't want to play that particularly here. We'd rather use it where it's full strength. Okay, so we got 9 on the 5, which is 5 hits, and they got 2 on the 6, which is just 1 hit. So that is going to be a major victory by the Romans. I don't have any kind of advantage for that. I'll be back in a moment. Card gets removed. The other card is there. I have 2 points left. I could spend one of them to convert this and get... Oh, that was another thing. There's an example somewhere in the playbook. Nowhere else. Somewhere in the playbook, apparently. Someone is, putting out corrections, and I thank them for that. It's the same person as the thing with the card, and I asked them for evidence. I haven't gotten any yet. But sometimes U-Turd doesn't give me alerts properly. But somewhere in the playbook, apparently, you can start your move somewhere and drop a control marker, just like you could in any other of these CDGs. And that's what I believed was the intention here. So I may go along with that, but there are advantages to just parking in a space, taking your attrition roll. Instead, I'm going to spend my 2 movement points here because I'm damn close to killing this guy. But do I want to leave 2 strength points behind? Not particularly. Taking this location is just as useful. So I've got 4 strength points at +2 to 1 strength point at +1. Does he want to play his overwhelming numbers here? It's probably not going to do the job. So 4 at +2 means I get 5 against 4. I do 1, 5, 6 to 1. Both sides take 1. The Barbarians are defeated. They actually win the battle. I'm sorry, I lied. And the Romans are forced back. Had I known this, that it was going to be that kind of die roll combination, I would have done differently perhaps. But General in Disgrace, play after winning a Loyalist, permanently eliminate that leader. Is this guy worth eliminating? He's got a decent, he's a decent leader, right? And there aren't a lot of decent leaders. Is this worth expending this card for? To get rid of that leader? It's a hard call, man. It's a hard call. I mean, I would much rather permanently eliminate... This guy's probably going to get eliminated by being a usurper. I would much rather permanently eliminate what other than him? This is a little better. Yeah, let's take him out. Seems worth it. Oh, this isn't a card that goes away forever. So yeah, we just got rid of Magus Maximus, who might come back, right? Like, there maybe is a card for him or something, but we don't know. We got to be careful with Barbarians because they might have somebody on the flip side. So that was the Roman turn, actually. Come back here, and the card numbers have gotten perturbed. There are more Roman cards total than Barbarian, which may mean that I want to pass, because I do count that in. This could go in Slavicus. The Vandals... I can't play the Vandals. This I want to hold off on. Yeah, I'm going to pass it back over to the Romans. I'm kind of reading this wrong. This is place all Loyalist CU and up to 2 Loyalist provincial capitals. A 3-ops card allows me to put in any 2 Loyalist provincial capitals 2 CU. I don't know if I cheated with this before, but this would just be 1 in 2 different places. It is still kind of a deal. Like, point-wise, it's not as good a deal, but 3-point cards are very rare. But I'm kind of torn about it. Activate a Loyalist leader using this card ops, which could be Byzantine. And grabbing spaces. This is going to cost me 1, 2, 3, 4 to siege. It's going to take me a while to take. Do I have a 2-point card I want to play? I'll play the Constantius card. The real question is, do I want troops first? I don't have a lot of troops. Yeah. Let's play the Citizens Militia and add a strength point here. And I don't know. I'm going to get some here. This feels a little weak. This feels a little weak, but this isn't a provincial capital. Yeah, let's put it up here, I guess. Not really thrilled because he's not very capable, but all right. And I don't know what the fuck to do with this, right? I can activate this force, but he's not terribly useful right now. This costs 2. It's rough terrain going over the Alps there. 3, 4, 5. You know, I'd have to get some kind of special card that it probably doesn't exist. So, and I think I only operate with ops. So I'm kind of at a, gosh, I don't know. You know, do I want to pass through? Do I want to do something else? I don't know. So what do we got here? We got overwhelming numbers. We got Angle Invasion, which we might want to play. The Vandal Invasion, which is points we can use. The Uprising, which can be in Gaul. In any non-barbarian space in Gaul, if no CU or leaders change control to Byzantines. So, I think I can do it right there. and take Lugnesium, the capital of Gaul, taking Gaul away. I think that's very, very powerful. I'm not going to play that first, though. I'm going to play the Anglo invasion, I guess, up here. This is somewhat problematic, actually, because I don't have a lot of cards left, and I'm going to have to do a migration with these forces, which is not pleasant, to tell you the truth. Like, my barbarians are going to wear out if I can't break holes in the Roman holdings. Play this for points. Coming here, 1, 2. We're going to hide inside, I guess. So 3, 4 for a siege. Wow, there's like a barbarian siege there that I'm not prosecuting. That's okay. Like, he's got enough troops, I believe, I hope, that he can continue the siege without playing cards. So that's after the attrition phase. So that's kind of useful. But here's the thing. If I play this card, this is fine, because if I convert this to barbarian, he's going to be in a provincial capital. I think he doesn't have to migrate from that. But I am going to need to move him for an invasion. Cost me 3 movement points to invade, a 4th to take a space. That'll allow me to migrate. So I'll have to play this card for points. Don't think I can easily siege. So we'll go to here, and we'll take a barbarian marker. We'll put the barbarian marker underneath because it's what's expected to be there. I gotta have a barbarian marker there. Otherwise I get confused. If I don't have a marker on a space that's confusing, I've got to fix that, right? Because he did not convert that space. So that brings me back to the Romans. They have more cards. That siege is underway. I would have liked to use Spirit of the Republic to move this around. But I don't think I want to use... Like, I think I want to use the Byzantine assistance to put a force here. Maybe not right away. Which means Spirit of the Republic, what the fuck would I do with this? Can I throw the Angles back into the sea is the question. A 3-point card would give me 4 movement points. I got a shot at it. 1, 2, 3. And I'd be able to convert the space as well. Or I could defeat the Picts, but the Picts don't go away, right? They'll get forced back into Pict land. So, I'm going to play this. Do I want to play it already? Or do I want to delay for time and see if there's a better option? Because this is pretty fucking useless as I see it. I'm going to move him. I draw a 1. I don't think I can play this for the event. Let me look that up. Yeah, so I announce I'm going to move him. I draw a card that can't possibly move him. I would need at least 1 more point to do anything with him. So this just becomes a discard for me. That puts me back there. And I have 2 cards. 1 a battle card. And 1 this uprising. I'm going to play the uprising. This feels weird. See, I know what I want to do with that. I don't fucking know what I want to do with this. I need to migrate, though. So he's a three-pointer. I could move my army down to here without attacking anything. My chances of sieging are not great, but they're twice as high as I might think. So I've got 6 strength points. Yeah, what if I play the other card? So that gives me 3 movement. 1 movement point. Oh fuck, that's no good. Screwed. But I have to migrate, man. God damn. Well, at least I have a hole I can migrate through. What can I use a 2-point card for? We could fight for Africa, or we could turn around and go back and fight to keep Hispania. Because Hispania is not in good shape. I would like to win Africa. So I'll play this. That's going to give me 5 points. I have 3 of these. I don't know who gets control in this case. So if I just move and take this, I would then have 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4. The Romans would no longer have a majority. So I can steal control. And now there's something fucked up because the Romans don't lose control of provinces the way that the usurpers do. So the game is kind of weird. 1. Do you want to intercept, dude? Yeah, probably. I'm going to have to fight the battle anyway. So my interception is at +1 if Roman. And +1 for the TR. So I'm at +2. I have a fair chance of intercepting. I don't do so. So that's 1, 2 of my movement to convert this. I think that just converted Africa to being not controlled anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He no longer has the majority of the total spaces. So Africa flips over. That was 2 movement points. 3. I have 1 more point, which kind of sucks. That's not really what I wanted. Because I won't be able to do a siege right away. He is going to meet me in battle, but is he going to leave a strength point behind? Like an extra piece there? Yeah, it's not worth it. Slowing him down with the siege doesn't make sense. Okay, so he's going to be at +4 for crossing clear terrain coming up, and he's going to be at +2 for defending. So that's 8 at 6 is 4 hits, and that's 6 at, sorry. Yeah, 8 at 6. And this is 6 at 6 for 2 hits. So he's defeated. We can't wipe anything out. Hope we didn't misuse something. A hard call for the Romans. Do I want to reveal the Byzantines now and have a card that they could still use? Or do I want to hold them in reserve as a surprise in case this moves down? I don't know. So I'm going to roll a die. Odd, I'll do the Spirit of the Republic card first, which I'm not going to use for that effect. I'm going to use it for 4 movement points to move 1, 2, 3 into here. We're at even strength. The Romans are at +4. The Barbarians are at +1. Strength doesn't matter. It's 4 points is what the thing that matters is. So we were at 7 against 4. I find this this mechanism very difficult to cope with. This CRT here. And 4, 5 for the same 4 is 1. So I do 3 to 1. Those guys are going to be forced back, and I don't think they can retreat. I think they're destroyed. Extra point destroys or converts the space. Now, if I had done this as Spirit of the Republic instead, I would have yet another point. Yeah, okay. And I would lose a very good card that might come in handy much later in the play. That puts me to the last Barbarians. We're going to do the Bagaday. This is going to be the Bagaday with Tabato and 4. Record keeping had gotten kind of out of hand. I had forgotten to put the Burgundians there. I don't know if I've done anything else. But the Bagaday are one of the ones that cannot be converted, I'm assuming. Yeah, can't bribe them. And so I'm putting an extra marker above there. For representation, it's Roman-controlled territory, except for their one place. So I'm not doing anything over here to indicate, hey, just assume territories are barbarian-controlled at this point. All they hold is that. That gives us the Romans, and I need to switch batteries with the last card. Indeed, we bring the Byzantines in with our final card. The card goes away. Now, attrition checks. We have quite a few of them. Up here, 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 over here. We own this, so we don't have to make one there. Stake in Rome is not converting over. I took the attrition here, put the control marker down because why not? Oh, I can put that underneath. But there's still 4 versus 4, so I don't have the majority. I thought I was getting it with this, which was part of the beauty of that attack, but I mean, had I made it up to here and succeeded, I would have wiped out the tribe. Like, I did make it up there. Had I succeeded, I would have wiped out the tribe and gotten all of Germania. So that would have been kind of cool. Combining attrition with control, which is what I did here. This siege was successful. We got a plunder for that. This siege was not, although it was partially successful. We wiped out the troops there. This one was, Carthage has fallen, and we don't get any plunder for that, but we have control. We marked it as Africa as usurper right now. This isolated space doesn't matter. It's not a usurper space, so it doesn't stop being pro-Roman. I'm a little bothered by that. I don't know. That puts us to migration, and this is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to read the rules again here, because weird shit is happening. First of all, there are places where we're allowed to migrate 2 spaces now. We're in second wave already. Yeah. We're allowed to migrate 2 spaces, which gives us some more flexibility than we would otherwise have. Captured territory, so I moved from here, took these 2. I'm heading for this walled city. If I could have gotten it, I would just take it with this kind of migration, which is pretty potent. As it is, though, I get 2 plunder. First one takes me to 0 and gets rid of this. Second one to there. So we're starting to trim the Roman victory point lead. Over here, I must migrate 1. Do I want to migrate 2? Well, there's more plunder for 2. So why not? Oh, that's not this. That's this. So yeah, 1, 2 to here, that's going to plunder. I forgot to take the plunder for this. That's 2 points for a city. And now I can come down here. That's 2 points for a city. Do we want to get close to the enemy? I don't know. There's enemy everywhere. I really wanted that city. I didn't have to do this migration. I wanted to. There's no real limitation as to where I can migrate, but there is a problem. Neither of these can migrate because they would have to go into another tribal or an enemy's location. This can, though. Hold on. 1, 2. I take this back. I don't get plunder for it, but that's okay. And that means this one can migrate to there. And you see kind of the pressures of the migrations, right? This is what it's meant to represent. But let's get back to this guy. He's got another point. What's his point? Don't particularly want to be in the city. That doesn't terribly help me. So we'll take another plunder for that. And we're getting a fair amount of plunder, and we're also reducing the Roman holdings, finally. So it feels like the barbarians are actually doing something. And now that they're doing something, it feels like the Romans should be reacting to what they're doing rather than the blundering around. So maybe the game will start making some sense very shortly. Maybe. Roman scoring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They lose a point this turn because they've had, so many hits against them, essentially. And the Empire is truly feeling like it's under siege finally for the first time in the game. Now, should it have felt like it earlier? I don't know. Again, my knowledge of the dates is kind of iffy here. Oh, this guy is going to come back. He is an angle. He actually comes back during the reinforcements, which is what we're doing right now. Kind of funny here. Over here in the scenario rules, and I'm following this, but during the reinforcement phase of turn X, you remove leaders and add additional. So Theodosius the Younger will be removed and Honorius is added during the reinforcement, according to this. But according to here, advanced turn marker, remove and replace emperors. I'm following the scenario, but they conflict. Anyway, this is the situation we have now. Let's try to spell it out because it could get lost in all the sort of mechanical aspects because things have really happened. So Hispania, we have a usurper, and I'm cheating, but who has taken Carthage and has taken Hispania and Africa away, but it's under siege by whoever this is, Argyle-Bargle. Up here, the Picts have broken through. Here we had a revolt of, some Gauls or something who have started creating their own Gallic kingdom over here. Migrations happening away from the coast because they have to go somewhere. They're not allowed to stay where they are, and they're pushing forward. Germania is still not in Roman hands. This guy is swirling around, having crossed the Danube, and Byzantines are in play. Forces are being built up everywhere, and whatnot. All right. I think this is a place for stopping the video. It's kind of funny. It's like, there was a time when I was limited to 15-minute videos, right? When I first started with YouTube. They limit your videos, or at least they used to. And then it upped me to like an hour. And then I was careful to try to stay within an hour. And I kind of tried to stay around an hour long after it just got expanded to make them as long as you fucking like. We don't care. We're not processing your videos anymore. in the same way. We're not putting them together for you. So when they stopped putting your videos together, they like made it a lot easier, even though my format for putting videos together is to just slam the files together, because the particular codec I use allows that. So like, there is some sort of processing on my side that links them together properly, but it's very, very lightweight compared to most, which is another reason to like these cameras. Other ones put in different formats and not so good. But yeah, now videos end up at stupid lengths. So I don't think that's a great idea, but it does actually limit. If somebody was upset that I was like, putting 20 videos up for something. This is back when, they were smaller. Anyway. So up this goes, I guess.